How I faced my biggest regret and became stronger. Before we begin the story, make sure to subscribe to our channel and never miss more incredible stories every day. I harmed someone, and today I stop hiding. I say it into the buzzing lights of the community center where folding chairs scrape like reprimands. I'm Alex, 32, manager of a busy cafe that feeds the night shift from the hospital across the street. My job matters because people stumble in shaky and hungry, and I can actually help. But there's a different hunger chewing me hollow. At 4 p.m., Mediator Cole will call my name, and the person I hurt, Mara, will walk in. If I dodge it again, the letter from her lawyer says the next meeting won't be optional. I picture the tip jar, the barista's trust, the lease I co-signed, all of it wobbling if headlines say manager ducks accountability hearing. Tessa squeezes my shoulder. You show up, you tell it straight. I don't know if straight exists, I murmur. Then tell it crooked and own the angles. I've rehearsed apologies so many times they taste like stale foam. Dr. Huang told me to bring evidence, not poetry, emails, dated receipts, therapy notes, an itemized plan for restitution. You cannot unspill the coffee, she said, but you can mop and keep mopping. I open the folder. On top is the photo that never stops burning. Mara in a sling, eyes glazed. The night we both pretended it would be fine. Behind it, bank statements, a misfiled incident report, my text where I wrote, "Please don't involve HR, I'll make it right." The PA clicks. A custodian wheels a rattling bin past. The air smells like disinfectant and paper shame. I inhale until my chest hurts. I harmed someone. I repeat, quieter, as if practice makes courage. Tessa's nails drum my elbow. 1, 2, 3. Last chance to run. She jokes, not joking. Not this time. I answer, feeling my throat fight the words. From the hallway, a voice I know says my name like a verdict. I turn toward the door as Mara steps into the fluorescent light. Before the cafe, before the disaster, I grew up in a house where apologies were currency and we were always broke. My mother built elaborate detours around truth. My father taught me to smile, nod, and keep the line moving. People remember kindness, not paperwork, he'd say. I learned to fix little messes fast, remake drinks, comp meals, smooth over mistakes with coupons and charm. It made me good at service and terrible at accountability. In college, I studied English until Rent insisted I study espresso. I loved the rhythm, the hiss of steam, the little nods customers give when you remember their order. The cafe became my stage and shelter. Tessa, who started as a part-time closer, turned into my ballast. We believed in showing up for the tired, the grieving, the almost late. Then came the first hairline fracture. A delivery shorted us 4 cases of oat milk. I said, "We'll make do," and never filed the discrepancy. "It's just oat milk," I told Tessa. Why pick a fight? We ate the loss from the tip credit and told ourselves it was solidarity. Truth, it was avoidance with latte art. Years layer into habits. I kept a notebook of fixes, tiny, fast, quiet. Somewhere in there I met Mara, a grad student who worked nights as a courier. She'd grab black coffee and leave notes on sticky paper. "You saved me 10 minutes, which saved my grade." We joked about starting a tiny library corner in the cafe. She felt like a person who noticed. Last winter, a vendor overbilled us for cups. "I'll handle it," I promised the team. I didn't. The invoice turned to interest. "Any update?" Tessa asked, eyebrows bent. "Soon." I lied, smiling as if my grin could notarize reality. Ignoring felt like keeping peace, until it felt like building a dam of bones. And then, one rainy night, that dam broke. It started with a message from a number I didn't recognize. "We need to talk about the bike." I stared until the screen dimmed. I told myself spam, a wrong number, anything but memory. Then a second text, a photo of our street, wet and glinting, a crumpled delivery bag on the curb. "You said you'd file the report," the caption read. My thumb trembled above reply. At the cafe, a customer in a courier jacket hovered by the pickup shelf, eyes skimming me like a searchlight. I boxed pastries with the neatness of a confession. "You Alex?" he asked. "Yeah." He nodded at the helmet tucked under his arm. "You were there last year, right? With Mara?" I swallowed air that scratched. "I don't." He cut in, softer. "She was out a month. No workers' comp. That sucked." The grinder held behind me. I waved off the next order and stepped aside. "She didn't put in for comp. I said. She asked me not to. He looked at me like I'd said gravity was optional. People don't beg to stay broke. When he left, Tessa pressed a sticky note into my palm. Call HR. I pinged our old phone backups. The night of the incident lived in fragments. Mara's message, arms bad. I'm shaking. My reply, don't involve HR. I'll cover lost shifts. There it was, my neat, fast, quiet fix. But another screenshot from the courier app showed the delivery was logged as customer-side spill, which was me. I'd bumped the door, coffee sloshed, she jerked the bike to avoid a kid, and the skid took her down. I scrolled to the photo again. The bag, the glare, the rain like needles. The third text arrived. Mediation is scheduled. Show up with documents or don't show up at all. I finally typed back, fingers cold as I hit send. The embarrassment hit public before I could brace. Someone posted a thread in the local courier forum. Manager asked rider not to file comp after injury. My name was in the comments within hours. It wasn't the worst version of me, but it was a version I created. At the same time, the café's landlord emailed about the lease renewal with a request for updated liability confirmations. I read it as an indictment. Tessa found me in the back, staring at the freezer inventory like it held absolution. Cole's scheduled mediation, she said. Next week. I tried for a shrug. I'll bring a gift card. She flinched. You think a gift card fixes medical bills and months of pain? I'll cover the wages, I said, voice tiny. With what? Tips. My savings. She crossed her arms. Or you could tell the truth and file the damn report. Dr. Huang squeezed me in for a session. I told her the story like I was filing a weather report. Occasional guilt, scattered showers of shame. She waited. I filled the silence with justifications. The cafe was fragile. I wanted to protect Mara from bureaucracy. I planned to make it right, I swear. Protecting whom? She asked. The shop, I said too quickly. And yourself. I hated how cleanly she cut it. That night, a barista texted me a screenshot, a Yelp review accusing us of shady management. I retyped a dozen responses, all foam, no coffee. I printed the incident form I ignored last year. The paper looked like a passport I never stamped. At 2 a.m., I stood alone on the cafe floor, lights off, listening to the refrigeration hum and my breath stutter. I opened the laptop and started a folder named Mara, Evidence, Do Not Spin. Outside, a bike bell rang like judgment. The next morning, one of our regulars asked, too brightly, everything okay with that lawsuit? The word bounced around the cafe like a dropped spoon. Tessa set a latte down harder than necessary. I smiled the practice smile and said, we're in conversation. In the office, she closed the door. You can't manage a team while dodging accountability, she said. I'm not dodging. I lied, then inhaled my own breath like smoke. Okay, I have been. I'm scared. Good, she said. Fear means you see the cliff. What if we fall? Then we climb together, she said, softer. But not if you grease the cliff with half-truths. I wanted to quit, to hand her the keys and vanish. Dr. Huang called that urge the coward's vacation. She said, make a list. Who was harmed, how, and what repair looks like. The list shook in my hand. Mara, medical bills, lost income, trust shattered. Tessa, carrying my silence, getting side-eyed by staff. Team, tips dipped, morale bruised. Self, anxiety, insomnia, the slow rot of avoidance. I emailed HR. Last year's courier incident requires formal documentation. I failed to file timely, requesting guidance and mediation attendance. My stomach dropped like I'd stepped off an invisible step. HR replied within an hour. Document all evidence. Attend mediation. No retaliation may occur. Your delay will be noted. Consequences had grammar. I could finally read. At close, I told the team we'd be shorthanded during mediation. A barista asked, did you ignore her injury? I told her not to file, I said. It was wrong. Silence rearranged the room. Then Tessa nodded. That's step one. I walked home through a drizzle that felt like punctuation. My phone buzzed with a new name, Mediator Cole, confirmation. I dug, quietly, thoroughly, as if truth might be hiding under a receipt. In the archived email, I found the invoice chain from the night of the accident. A supplier delay, my frantic note. We're slammed, I'll run drinks to the curb, and the time-stamped photo of 2 coffees and a tea wobbling on a tray. Security footage from the storefront showed me hip-check the door. A child darted past. Mara veered to avoid him. We'll clip the curb, and physics did the rest. I printed frames with timestamps. I pulled bank statements showing what I'd transferred to Mara over the next month. For payments, labeled sorry. They covered some rent, not the medical deductible. The amounts looked smaller under fluorescent light. I texted Mara, I'm collecting documents. I want to take responsibility. May I send the footage? She replied hours later. Send. No commentary. Tessa watched me scrub names and faces for privacy. You're shaking, she said. Feels like peeling sunburn. She nodded. Pain means you're getting past the dead layer. I found the HR portal logs. No report filed. A reminder email unread. My cursor hovering at 2:13 a.m., then closing the tab. I screen recorded it. I listed questions for mediator Cole. Would he allow restitution terms? Could we agree to public transparency without performative spectacle? Could we set future safeguards at the café, incident training, documented protocols, so Alex's gut was no longer policy? Dr. Huang reviewed my list. Also document your motive, she said. My motive was cowardice dressed as care. Good. Write that sentence. You'll need it. When I finally slept, I dreamed of coffee cups lined like jurors. In the morning, a new email waited. Witness willing to speak. The witness was a neighbor who'd been on the sidewalk that night. Mr. Hale, retired teacher, known tipper, steady eyes. He wrote, I saw the kid, the swerve, the fall. I also saw you say, please don't file. Our insurance will spike. My stomach rolled. I remembered his hand on my shoulder, saying, they're young, they bounce, and my grateful nod like a thief taking a compliment. I called him. I'm not asking you to soften anything, I said. I wasn't going to, he replied. But I'm willing to speak at mediation. I added his statement to the folder. Then I interviewed my team from that week. 2 remembered me insisting we keep it in-house. 1 remembered me crying in the walk-in fridge, whispering, I messed up. The walk-in felt like a confession booth with lettuce. Bank logs showed the cafe running dangerously close to overdraft for months. I told myself poverty justified shortcuts. Poverty only justifies clarity. I printed a calendar with dates, the accident, my transfers, Mara's follow-up messages, my ignored HR prompts, rising Yelp heat, the Courier forum thread, my first therapy session, and now, mediation day. When I met Tessa at the cafe, she pushed a folder toward me. Safeguards, she said. Incident reporting protocol, third-party training options, and a new comp policy draft. If you want to rebuild trust, start with systems, not speeches. I flipped through the pages, floored by her competence and love disguised as spreadsheets. If I lose my job, I said, half joking, you should run this place. I already do, she quipped, then softened. Make it official by acting like the kind of boss I deserve. I nodded until my eyes blurred. Then my phone lit with an unknown number again. Detective Ruiz here. Got a minute about that sidewalk footage? Detective Ruiz sounded tired and kind, a dangerous combination when you're used to skating by. We reviewed nearby security feeds for an unrelated incident, he said, and your night came up. Your framing is accurate, but there's a missing piece. I braced. What piece? The storefront across the street caught the seconds before your door opens, he said. The kid who ran by? A delivery guy's son. He was waiting inside, bored, and slipped out. The father looked away to check an app. That's not on you. But your don't file suggestion? That's on you. Shame and relief braided into something steady. Can I get that clip for mediation? I'll send it, he said. But remember, a truth that helps you isn't a shield against the truth that hurts you. After we hung up, I watched the clip 10 times. The father, Jonah, flicked his eyes down for a beat. The kid bolted. Then me, then Mara, then noise. The stakes shifted. Mara's present life had a new variable. Jonah's guilt, his son's accident, a thread that could snap more than my reputation if tugged wrong. I called Dr. Huang. Do I include this? Yes, she said, with care. You're not outsourcing blame. You're increasing accuracy. I drafted a note for mediator Cole. Supplemental video confirms factors beyond my control and the part fully within my control. Tessa read over my shoulder. This will complicate everything. Truth usually does. That night, I sat on the floor with piles of paper like small, angry cities. I kept hearing Mara's first text. We need to talk about the bike. The door buzzer startled me. On my mat lay an unmarked envelope that changed the equation again. Inside the envelope, photocopies of clinic bills stamped past due, a handwritten note. Make this whole, publicly, or I publish everything. No signature, but the handwriting looked like Jonah's from a receipt. The threat iced my spine. The clarity warmed it. Public was coming either way. I sat at the table and wrote the plan. Step 1. Full admission of my delay and interference, on record. Step 2. Immediate payment of Mara's outstanding bills, verified by the clinic. Step 3. Restitution for lost income based on average weekly earnings, plus late fees, documented. Step 4. Implement café safeguards, incident training, reporting protocol, a posted comp policy. Within 30 days, audited by HR. Step 5. Quarterly check-ins for a year with mediator Cole or a designated monitor. Step 6. A public post outlining the process, not the drama, with Mara's consent. I totaled the numbers. My savings evaporated on the page. I need a payment plan and probably a second job. So be it, I said to the empty room. Tessa looked over the spreadsheet and whistled. This is grown-up pain, she said. I want to pay it, I said. I just don't want to be humiliated. You don't get to curate the consequences, she replied gently. We assembled the presentation, receipts, dates, transfers, emails, the envelope, and the video clips. I typed a script free of adjectives. I told Mara not to file. I delayed reporting. My motive was fear for the cafe and myself. I harmed her financially and emotionally. I proposed the following repairs. At midnight, I added one more line. If Mara wants public transparency, I consent. I pressed save and closed the laptop. In the silence, my phone vibrated once more. Mara had sent a message I didn't expect to read. Mara's text was a single sentence. If you try to spin this, I will destroy you. It should have scared me straight. Instead, it poked the old reflex. My fingers tingled with the urge to craft a softer story, something about context, about hustle, about how I'm a good person who made a single mistake. Tessa caught me drafting. Delete it, she said. I just want her to see I'm trying. She'll see it in receipts, not rhetoric. At the cafe, a supplier offered to sponsor us if we promote their brand online. Could help with those bills, the rep said, eyes darting toward my folder. The temptation roared. Sell a piece of the narrative for cash. Reduce my responsibility by turning accountability into content. I opened my mouth. Tessa stepped between us. We appreciate it, she said, but no. After the rep left, I slumped. I almost sold the story before telling it. I admitted. You almost did, she said, steady as a countertop. But you didn't. Keep not doing it. That night, I dreamed of microphones sprouting like weeds. I woke with the taste of ash and a calendar notification, mediation, for PM. Arrive early. At noon, Dr. Huang called. Remember your 4 sentences, she said. I told her not to file. I delayed. I was afraid. I will repair. Good, she said. Say them even if your voice shakes. At 3:30, I stood in the hallway outside the conference room. Cole opened the door. Everyone's here, he said. Are you ready? I exhaled until my lungs were clean. Then the door behind him opened again, and someone unexpected walked in. Jonah entered, hat in hand, pale under the fluorescent hum. He nodded to Cole, then to Mara, then to me. I'm here because my kid ran out, he said. I should have watched him. Mara's jaw tightened. This isn't about blame shifting, she said. It isn't, I added quickly. It's about completeness. Cole laid out the ground rules. Speak to the facts, no interruptions, documents visible to all. The room smelled like toner and nerves. He clicked the projector on. Alex, you requested this forum and brought materials. Begin. I opened my folder and my mouth. The 4 sentences came out like stones set carefully on a riverbed. I showed the footage, the frames, the bank transfers labeled sorry. I displayed the HR portal logs with the yawning gap where a report should have been. I read Mr. Hale's statement aloud. Each line scraped me clean. Cole turned to Mara. Response. She kept her eyes on the screen. I asked him not to file the very first night, she said slowly, because I was scared of being seen as weak at work. He could have said, that's not how this works. We're filing. He didn't. I didn't, I said, throat burning. Jonah spoke, voice small. My boy ran out, he said. I looked down at my phone to accept a run, and he slipped outside. I bear that. Cole nodded. Today, we are deciding on repair, not assigning punishment. I clicked to the spreadsheet, the plan, step by step. I can start payments today, I said. I'll need a schedule for the remainder. I'm also implementing protocols at the cafe. Mara watched me, expression unreadable. Cole folded his hands. Mara, do you accept this framework in principle? She inhaled, long and careful. Then she asked a question that sliced through every plan I'd made. Why did you really ask me not to file? Mara asked. Not the cafe. You. The room tilted. I had my practiced line. Fear, image, money. But something older rose up, sour and precise. My father used to say, don't make it official or it becomes real, I heard myself admit. He taught me to fix everything quietly. When you got hurt, I defaulted to that. I wanted to be the hero who paid the bills, not the adult who filed the report. Silence held me by the back of the neck. Cole nodded at the screen. And the envelope? I slid it across. I think Jonah sent it, I said. The handwriting matches. It demanded public repair. Jonah flushed. I did, he said. I was angry. Not just at you, at myself, too. My kid could have been hit by a car. I wanted to force all of us to stop hiding. Mara studied the clip again, eyes shining. I lost a month of work. My rent went late. Pain makes you small. I hated asking for help. I weaponized that hate, I said. I gave you a private exit instead of a public safeguard. Tessa, behind me, finally spoke. He's changed the systems, she said. Not just the speech. We have policies now. Cole clicked through the safeguard slides. Clear, measurable, time-bound, he said. Good. Mara looked at me. I want the payments and the policies. And I want a public post where you say exactly what you did and why. Yes, I said, voice steady. And one more thing, she added, gaze sharp. I want you to spend Saturdays for 3 months volunteering at the cycling nonprofit. I swallowed, then nodded. I will. Cole cleared his throat. We have an agreement in principle, he said. Then a knock on the door interrupted the breath we all held. HR stepped in with a folder of their own. We'll conduct an internal review, the rep said. Alex's failure to file is a policy violation. There may be disciplinary action. My cheeks prickled. Consequences were not a theory anymore. They had stationery. We signed the preliminary restitution document. I transferred the first payment in the room. The clinic portal reflected, paid, $1,000. Cole scheduled check-ins. Mara's shoulders dropped a millimeter. Outside, the corridor felt colder. Tessa walked beside me, quiet. You okay? I'm not sure what okay is, I said. We'll redefine it, she replied. At work, I gathered the team. We have new protocols, I said, and I'm under review for past failures. A barista raised a hand. Do we keep our jobs? Yes, I said. No one's losing hours over my mistake. After close, I drafted the public post. I wrote, I harmed someone by asking them not to file a formal report after an injury connected to our cafe. I delayed accountability because I was afraid for the business and myself. That was wrong. Here is how I'm repairing it. Payments, policies, training, volunteering. Here is how you can hold me accountable. Quarterly updates with Mediator Cole. I hit publish. The comments began like rain. Some angry, some relieved, some telling their own stories of bosses who smiled while sliding the forms away. 2 days later, HR issued a decision, a formal reprimand, mandatory training, and 90 days of probation. I kept my job under a new supervisor for compliance, Tessa. I cried with gratitude and humiliation in the walk-in again. Mara texted a screenshot. Clinic account showing payment received. First brick, she wrote. I typed, I'll keep laying them. Then a courier forum notification pinged my phone with a thread that could ignite everything again. The thread's title read, Accountability, finally. There were skeptics who called it PR spin, and they weren't wrong to question me. I replied once, linking to the restitution schedule and policies. Then I logged off. Dr. Huang said, repair is boring on purpose. Let it be. Saturdays, I showed up at the cycling nonprofit, learned to true wobbly wheels, and listened to riders talk about near misses and broken wrists and the math of risk. Jonah brought his son to help. The kid handed me wrenches like blessings. You the coffee guy? He asked. I am, I said. And the sorry guy. He grinned. Okay. At the cafe, we posted the incident protocol near the time clock. Staff practiced filing mock reports. We set up a safety fund, seeded by my bonuses, then by community donations I initially wanted to reject until Tessa said, "This fund is not your absolution. It's our guardrail." Every quarter, I sat with Cole and updated the ledger. Payments went out. Receipts came back. Mara and I traded messages that sounded like colleagues more than enemies. She wrote, "My arm aches when it rains, but I'm okay." And I wrote, "We installed rubber mats at the curb." Boundaries mattered. I didn't ask for her forgiveness. I asked for her invoice schedule. I didn't try to be her friend. I tried to be reliable. On probation's last day, HR signed off with a warning and a path. Tessa stuck a gold star on the protocol binder just to make me laugh. One evening, we rolled the gate down and leaned on it, tired and quiet. "You did it," she said. "I started it, I corrected." "Keep starting it," she said. Outside, the street was dry, the curb clean, the night simple. Then a car backfired, and Mara's message arrived with news that tightened my chest. Her text said, "Final payment received. We're square." Two words bloomed in me: relief and responsibility. I walked to the community center where it began and sat alone in the same metal chair, hands warm around a paper cup of decaf. I thought about all the versions of me that tried to stay charming instead of honest, quick instead of careful, private instead of accountable. I thought about my father's mantra, "Don't make it official," and how making it official saved me from myself. Dr. Huang once said, "Redemption isn't a finish line, it's reliable maintenance." She was right. The cafe is not redeemed because I cried in a fridge. It's better because we built systems that catch people before they fall. Mara doesn't owe me forgiveness. I owe her what I promised, on time, with proof. Tessa isn't my conscience. She's my partner, and partnership sounds like, "Show me the receipt." If you're carrying a heavy regret, here's what I learned. Write the 4 sentences that name what you did, why you did it, who it hurt, and how you'll repair it. Bring receipts, avoid adjectives. Choose public process over private theater. Let consequences be teachers, not enemies. And build guardrails so your future self doesn't need heroics. I stepped outside. The street was ordinary and beautiful, the kind of night you earn by telling the truth until it becomes your habit. A cyclist rang a bell. The cafe lights glowed like a small promise. My phone buzzed with a final message from Mara, "We're done here." I typed, "Thank you for holding me to the work," and I meant it. Then I asked myself the only question that matters next. What repair will I choose when the next wrong turn arrives?